Herman Cain is a man running for president. He was the former CEO of Godfather Pizza. He's a very conservative gentleman. And apparently he had this organization called America's PAC, and they ran some ads in black communities, in 2004 and 2006. Now, Herman Cain himself is African American, but the ads are funny and questionable, as you're about to see. This ran on black radio in different cities where they thought it would affect the elections. Let's listen.
Paid for by America's PAC.
The night's still young. Come on, let's head to the river and try out the slots.
Nah, I gotta get home. I promised Kathleen I'd help the kids with their homework.
You know, the Army really changed you.
War does that. It makes you value what you're fighting for.
So I suppose you want me to vote Republican, like you and your soldier buddies.
Not at all. You've got no reason to.
How's that?
Well, you don't work for a living, so what do you care about keeping taxes low?
Hey, that's cold.
You cheat on your wife, so why would you want an amendment to protect marriage?
Hey, a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do.
And I know you're not going to enlist to defend your country.
Not everyone's as slow as you are, bro.
And if you make a little mistake with one of your hoes, you'll want to dispose of that problem too sweet, no questions asked.
No, now that's too cold. I don't snuff my own seed.
Huh? Really? Well, maybe you do have a reason to vote Republican.
Herman Cain was actually the voiceover talent that was playing the Republican in that ad.
That was ridiculous.
That was, who says, oh,
speechless.
one of your hoes on an ad? I don't know, on a political ad. But think about how insulting that is for the black community. They think the way to reach the black community is to say, hey, I know when you're with one of your hoes.
I feel like I don't have words to describe how terrible that was and offensive it was.
And do you have any idea what toot sweet means? Anybody? Jayar, you know what toot sweet means? What is it? What is it? Rudy,
I don't
tooty,
get
fruity,
off
fruity?
of context because I had never really heard of it. I guess, quick, straight to the, cut and dry.
Toot sweet. Never heard of it.
I never heard of it either.
Okay. But, luckily the man doesn't snuff his own seed, so it's
thank
okay.
God.
But, whenever I talk about hoes, I say toot sweet.
No, but here's the thing I don't understand, JR, right? So why is this guy who actually is black, doesn't understand how black folks talk at all and would do this kind of, demeaning ad? Do you see what I'm saying?
Because I think, there's levels of, he gets a certain level of success, and he's like, well, look at, quote, my people. And then he looks down on the same people that he is, a race of people that he comes from, and he looks at it like, I'm better than them. Look at these losers. Why don't you guys like me? If he did have support from black folks, I assume a lot of them reject him, so he has this inner anger towards people that aren't like him. So then he has these, of course, skewed thoughts and beliefs about him because how come you don't do what I do? It's just the mindset of the type of person that becomes this kind of Republican. You're like, I'm better than them. How come you don't just pull yourself up by your bootstraps? You're just screwing your hose.
But aren't you supposed to be really politically correct if you're trying to run for president? Shouldn't he be being extra careful with these things?
Well, the thing is, in general, I think Republicans give up on black folks anyway. They're like, they're not going to vote for us anyway. They basically said it in the ad. They're not going to vote for us anyway, so it doesn't matter what we say to them. Maybe we can pick up a few people who we can change their minds because they're stupid.
So now that was used in the 2004 presidential election and then in the congressional elections in 2006. So, I guess they thought, who cares about being politically correct? As JR said, they're not going to vote for us anyway. Maybe we'll trick a couple of them into thinking, hey, we're the pro-military guys, we're the guys for the working blacks. Again, another incredibly demeaning stereotype. You don't work anyway, the Republican says to a so-called black friend, right? And then later, of course, Herman Cain decides he's going to run for president in 2008, and he's done this in the past, and it's atrocious. And my final point, and Jay and I were talking about this off air, is he's like, I don't know any black folks that talk like that, right? But Jay, I don't know any folks that talk like that, period. Who says things like, huh? What? Okay.
That conversation would have ended after he said, hey, let's go down to the river and check out the slots. And he said, you screw around on your wife anyway. He'd be like, just get the fuck out of here. Get away from me.